My first trip to Florida was in October of 1990, the first time I'd ever come down here, and we came to visit my grandparents who lived in Palmetto, which is right here in the market that I cover. It's in Manatee County, just a little bit north of Sarasota. And we did the Disney thing and all that good stuff. So of course, October in Florida is a lot warmer than what it was up in Ohio, where I'm from. I'm from Toledo. And so first of all, that was just a strange thing to me, knowing that my friends up north were colder and I was nice and warm in the sunshine here. But that really got me thinking about the holidays and Florida, because in my mind, Christmas is cold, and that's just, there's so much involved with that, and Florida is not cold. So how do they do holidays? So I remember I asked my grandmother if Floridians put up Christmas lights, put up Christmas decorations, all that kind of stuff. How do they celebrate the holidays? Well, she laughed at me because, of course, Floridians do put up lights and put up decorations and put up trees and all those good things. And so little did I know, though, that Christmas of 1990 would be my last one as an Ohio resident. And that next year, we moved to Florida. So that was, just a huge surprise for me. So in this video, I want to share with you how Floridians celebrate the holidays, because as my naive 17-year-old self learned a whole lot, and I still see a lot of folks who are like, oh, you guys do this? Or, oh, it's like that. So of course, there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences between Florida and folks up north. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas, and each week I bring new videos about living in Florida, especially the Sarasota Bradenton area. And then of course I talk about real estate. So if you've been thinking about making a move here, or you need to shuffle things around with what you're doing here, or you need to leave the area, this might be a really good channel for you to follow. But then when you're ready to kind of take the next step, if you need help, then reach out to me, call, text, email, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then let's talk, and maybe I can help you sort out some of these concerns you might have, or help you figure out what's the next best step to take. I love the end of the year holidays, and I'll be honest with you, I could really just kind of skip over Halloween, focus on Thanksgiving a little bit early, and then Christmas even earlier. I'm the kind of person that listens to Christmas music off and on throughout the year, so thank goodness for Pandora, and I have a record player with a lot of Christmas records, so I really enjoy that. But there's still some sort of disconnect in my mind with celebrating the holidays in Florida when it's warm out than when it's like up north. And I know a lot of folks too. Some people are just so happy to escape the cold, they don't care. But other people, there is just a lot of sentimental feelings involved with that. So I want to share with you how we do the holidays here. Number one, it is warm out. Okay, now you're thinking, duh, Jill, you've already mentioned that like 4 times, so we got it. Like, we understand it's Florida. But I want to sort of flesh this out so you understand what that's like a little bit more, especially for those who are coming down from up north, because our cooler months are January, February. So sometimes after the holidays are over and everything's packed away, then it feels like, oh, now it feels like fall, because that's when our leaves fall a bit more, and just because it is cooler at that time. So sometimes there's a little bit of a weird disconnect internally. Again, there's a struggle just because if you're born and raised with certain things, certain traditions, all those things are interrelated. So I kind of find that interesting. Then of course, with all the warm sunny days, that means no snow. Now, there was snow in this area back in 1989 on Christmas Eve. This was before I was living down here, so I didn't see it myself, but I've heard stories, people still talk about it today, how they saw this light snow come down and how exciting that was. Of course, it melted right away, but at least there was something. So that's a nice experience for some people. I do know children, teenagers, and even some younger adults who have never seen snow ever in their life. So to them, experiencing the cold and the snow is very foreign to them. We do have a lot of festivals and activities and things outside. And one feature that a lot of them offer for the children are opportunities to experience snow. Now, this is fake snow. There are snow machines and different things, and it's usually slightly anticlimactic, especially to those who know what real snow is like. But to a little kid who's never experienced it, it's kind of fun for them to do that. Or they'll have what they call a snowball fight, or something to do with snowballs. Yeah, snowballs. The one time I saw it was actually at Jungle Gardens, and it was at Christmas time, they had the lights up everywhere, and they had like a snow cone machine type of thing, and they made these balls of shaved ice for the kids, and there were targets, and the kids could throw the snowballs or the ice balls at the target. That's about as close as we can get to having snow or those types of experiences for the children. Now, when our temperatures do dip like into the 60s and it's in the evening and it's dark out, most Floridians do get pretty cold, some more than others, like my sister. And so it's kind of nice because at least then maybe you can have an ugly sweater contest or things like that. Sometimes it is still super warm. It just depends. Every day is a little bit different, but it is nice to be able to wear some different clothes and fun things. Now, the upside to all this is that when you go shopping, you don't have to deal with those big heavy coats or having them in your car or running through a cold parking lot, because you don't want to carry your coat into the mall or into the store. Or if you go to a party, you don't see those coats piled up on somebody's bed to keep those there. So there's a lot of differences with that. There's a lot of pros and cons for it being so warm. Number 2, looking at Christmas lights. So as I mentioned, just like my grandma laughed at me about, yep, we still do decor and lights in a big, big way. So Floridians are definitely not shy about putting up holiday decorations. But one thing that's a little bit different than up north is how we can look at those lights. Of course, we drive around. There's places like, especially at the mall at UTC, beautiful lights. You can walk around. It's so gorgeous. Some people that have more acreage and land, they'll have beautiful light displays set to music, so you can walk around and look at that. But something different that we have here is, first, in the Sarasota area, we have the Sarasota trolley. So you can buy tickets to ride the trolley, and they'll go around to the best neighborhoods, the best homes, to look at all of the lights and the displays. And half of the trolley is covered and the other half is open air. I mean, there's covering over all of it, but some don't have windows and some do. So depending on how cold you get, you would want to be in one place or the other. So that is really fun. I've done that a couple of times. And then you can also look at the lights from the water. So I've actually been on a boat ride before, a larger boat out of Punta Gorda, which is in Charlotte County. I think it's at a fisherman's village, where you get on the boat and they sell hot chocolate, and they have snacks and things there. And they go up and down all of these really wide canals and see the Christmas lights in people's backyards. And so you're looking at it from the boat. And I just thought that was so beautiful, seeing the reflection off the water. It's gorgeous. So that was a lot of fun too. So yep, we still do all those lights, all the hoopla, but just a little differently. We can see it from a trolley or from the boat. Number 3, parades. So just like up north, we do have holiday parades, but most of ours are in the evening, at least around here, because there's one I know in Venice, the Sarasota parade. I'm sure Bradenton has one, and all of ours are at night. Now, honestly, I'm not sure if up north any parades you guys have are at night or during the day. I just think of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is of course during the day. So, but it's really lovely to do it at night. Just because everything lights up so much more. And sometimes it's colder, sometimes it's hot and sticky still. It just depends. So that's really fun. But we also have boat parades where people will put lights on their boats, and there's that parade. But the parade isn't on the land. The boats aren't being pulled, but they're out on the water. So that's always a big popular event here, and it takes place in a few areas right here in Sarasota and Manatee County, so there isn't just one boat parade. So that's always a lot of fun to watch too. So we do have parades. Number 4, live trees and wreaths. So yep, you can still buy a live tree here from Lowe's or Home Depot, or there's places on the side of the road where you can buy them. So that's definitely a thing. You have to be very careful though, because they do dry out a lot faster here because it's so hot out. They sell them in these tents, so you want to be very cautious of that. You can also buy live wreaths, garland, a garland that you can put over your mailbox, things like that. But if you hang it up outside, it dies really, really fast. It doesn't last very long. What I sometimes like to do is buy a live wreath and put it in my house, because I do have an artificial tree, and that way I still have a little bit of the smell of the pine, and it lasts longer, and you can spritz it with water. So yes, you can do the live trees and the garland and all the pine, but you just have to be really careful. You have to do it a little differently. And then also poinsettias. So poinsettias actually can live here all year round. So sometimes when people get the plants at Christmas time, they can plant them outside in a container or in the ground, and they can last a year or 2 or 3. After a while, they get a little woody. You want to pull them out. You don't want to keep them for forever, but you can keep them for a really long time here, as you can with Easter lilies. You can put those in the ground as well, and they'll last quite a while. 5, outdoor Christmas presentations. Okay, so, of course, churches often will have different types of Christmas presentations or cantatas or concerts or what have you. But some of them actually do them outside, and my church does that as well. So it's really fun because you can use live animals and people, I don't know, it's just more interactive. It's really neat. And I actually have a larger speaking part in ours. I usually do. So if you're interested in seeing me in my church's Christmas program, let me know. I can give you the details and the information on that. But that's a lot of fun to do. It's just something nice to do outside versus it being indoors. And so it kind of brings things alive. So I really enjoy that. Number 6. Eating outside. Okay, again, this is a little bit of a given, but you don't really think about it unless you think about it. It's really nice because around the holidays, you can eat meals outside, around the pool, out on the lanai, you know, maybe if you have a pavered area outside because our bugs aren't so bad during this time of year. So it's really fun to do that, whether maybe it's a brunch on Thanksgiving or Christmas, or you can celebrate New Year's Eve outside, however you want to do it. People will use those little tiki torches, things like that, because you're going to put lights all over the lanai. It's so beautiful. It's so fun. And so people really enjoy doing that. Now, let me compare this to some of the things I know that we did actually up north. Of course, we never ate a meal outside in November or December, but I do recall us putting our 2 liters of soda out back to get cold, stick it in the snow, and you didn't have to refrigerate so much. Or we'd have tins and tins and containers of cookies. And so those would either be kept outside or even in the garage because it was so cold. So that was just a memory I have. And I kind of forgot about it until I was writing this script and talking to my one friend about some of these details. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. So we definitely do not do that here. You don't want to put anything outside. It gets a little too warm. Number 7, New Year's Eve and the pineapple drop. So in downtown Sarasota, just like they do in New York City, you can go down there and celebrate New Year's Eve with everybody in the area, and they do a pineapple drop. So that's what they do here in Sarasota. Now, I will confess that I've never done it before. I prefer to avoid the crowds and just celebrate New Year's Eve at home. That's not my style, but so many people do enjoy going, and sometimes it's cold and sometimes it's warm out. So that's something else they do on New Year's Eve here in Sarasota. So there we have it, about 7 differences or so between celebrating the holidays up north versus in Florida in a warmer climate. So please let me know what I could have put in this video. What did I forget to mention, or what's something that's special that you have good memories of about up north that's different here that we can't do? There's just so much involved with that. And am I the only one too that ever thought, was surprised that Floridians do so much for the holidays? I don't know why. I thought that as a child, as a teenager, but that's where my brain was at the moment. I guess just ignorance or being naive and not having the internet at the time and seeing other pictures online of other people's celebrations. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. And as always, reach out to me if there's anything I can do for you. You guys have a great one. Take care.